Hello and welcome in the practical session of JavaScript. So here in this particular session, we will be talking about the objects. So in the previous sessions, we have seen that how we have created the array of issues and how we have created different methods for performing all the CRUD operations, right? Now you might be thinking about that what is the use of the object? Why we are introducing the object here? Now let me tell you one very important concept. You must have heard about this particular concept which is there on in front of you on your screen. That is, your application should be closed for modification and it should be open for extension. Now the question is that how you will be creating an application which is going to be closed for modification and open for extension. If you see your previous application, right, it is basically open for modification. Anybody can open this particular thing from console. So that way this particular concept will not be implemented over there. So we need to implement this thing. So this particular concept will be implemented with the help of object. Now you might be again thinking about what exactly the object is. So basically whenever you will be working onto the application, these applications will be having multiple components. Now what happens, sometimes it happens that you will be requiring one particular object to remove from your application and you want to add another object at that particular place. But whenever you are adding or removing the object, it should not affect the entire application, right? So in that case, when you are working onto the component structure, this component structure will give you this particular flexibility that whenever you will be adding or removing the component, it is not going to affect the entire system. I have provided you one reference over here so that when you will be going on to this, you will be understanding what exactly the object is and how you should create the object. And in your spare time, please go on this particular reference and try to read each and everything, because this is very good reference, and from here you will be getting lots of information. Like whenever you will be working with object, you will have to work with constructor. There are going to be some static methods, instance properties, instance methods. So guys, once you will be reading all these things, you will be well aware of the object concept and you will be able to understand how exactly I am going to use it into my application. Okay, so let me just go from here and let me explain you what exactly the object is, how do we create the object, and how we are going to work with this particular object in our application. So let me just come over here. These are the requirements that I will be talking about later on. But very first question is that how do we create the object, right? So very first question is how do we create the object? Okay, you might be thinking about this. So let me just give you the idea about this. In JavaScript, what you do, you will be creating one array. You will be creating one variable, and this is issue list variable. In our case, we have created, right? And then once you will be providing this curly bracket over here. Now it is basically the object. Now inside the object, you will be providing something. But right now, this particular object is the empty object, right? It is the empty object. Now, the next thing is you might be thinking about this, that what this object will contain. What object will contain? So for this, the answer is that object is going to contain the property. Now again, there should be another question into your mind, that what exactly this property, how does it look like, right? So property will be looking something like this. So inside your object, you will be having property, and property is going to be in the form of name and value pair, right? And this name and value will be separated by the colon. Now here this name is going to be always a string. This name is always going to be a string, and this value can be a string. It can be a string. It can be array, or it can be a function. Okay, so here you should understand how exactly you will be creating the object. how exactly this property will look like, what exactly the property is, and how you will be creating this name value pair over here. Okay, so now let me just give you the idea about our application, that in our application what different kind of changes we are going to make, right? So what you will be doing, basically, very first we should have one object where we will be storing different things. So here we will be creating the object as issue list object, right? This is going to be an issue list object, and now inside this particular issue list object, the entire application I will be putting whatever I have done up till now, that I am going to keep over here. Okay, so try to understand, guys, from here itself. So very first thing is I will be requiring one array. So this array is going to be something like this. I told you that inside the object, this we will be having property in the form of name and value pair. So name is always going to be an string, whereas value can be a string, it could be array or it could be function. So here, as you understand, these issues are going to be array. So how will you be creating the array? This is how you create the array, right? So here you will be providing the issue 1, issue 2, and so on. So this way you will be providing the issues. Now please do not provide here semicolon, because this semicolon is provided for the termination, but here it is not terminated, because inside the object I will be providing the properties, and these properties will be separated by the comma. Okay, now what is my next property? What could be my next property? So my first requirement is over, and that is issue tracker app should have issue array in the object. So this particular thing is done. We have issue array inside the object, right? Now my next requirement is that I should have display issue method. So here you need to create the display issue method. So just say display issue, and this display issue is what? It is a function, and you understand that this is not going to accept any argument. Why? Because its job is just to display the data. So we'll say console.log, and here you will be specifying like my issues, and then here you will be saying. Now see, if you are just going to say issues over here, you might be thinking that you will be displaying these issues over here, right? But it will create problem. Why? What that particular problem is, basically, because as I told you to read something about the function scope in the last session. So if you have read about it, you might be understanding that in JavaScript, function is basically an object, and inside the object, if you will be referring this issues, we don't have issues available inside this particular scope, right? This issues is available inside the scope of your issue list object. So basically, when you are referring something within the object, then you will have to come out of this particular object. And how you will be coming out from this particular object? Basically, you want to refer this issue list, right? Now you might be understanding one thing. What exactly this issue list is all about? This is basically the current object, right? In JavaScript, you will be referring the current object with the help of this. Okay. Now here what you need to do, you will be again separating this, and you will be requiring another function over here. So let me just create the space so that you will be understanding. Now the next thing is, our next requirement is that we should have the add issue method, so that we can add the data. So how you will be creating the add issue method? This is the add issue, and this is the function. This add issue function will be requiring new issue over here, and inside this you will be providing, like how you will be providing this new issue into this. So as you know that in array we have push method, right? But how you will be accessing this? Using this keyword, this dot issues dot push, and here you can say that you want to push this new issue method. Okay, so this is how you will be pushing. Now once this particular thing is pushed, Like you have added the new issue. Now what is your responsibility? What exactly you want to see? You want to see the effect, right? So what you will be doing, you will be just providing this display issue method over here. So how you are going to call this? Again, this dot display issue. This method you will be calling. Okay, now this requirement is also done. Now the next requirement is what? The object should have change issue method. So how you will be creating the change issue method? This is the change issue. Okay, now this change issue is a function. Now here you will be providing the position as well as the new issue that you want to put on the existing issue. Okay, so here how you are going to make the changes? Again, it is simple. This dot issues, and you will be referring the position over here, and on this particular position, you will be providing the new issue. Okay, so this is how you are going to make the changes. Now here you need to call this dot display issue. This method you need to call. Okay, now once this is done, now the final requirement is that you should have a delete issue method. So again, delete issue function. Now this will be requiring the position from where you want to delete, and once it is done, see, you will be saying this dot issues dot, you have this splice method, and inside the splice method you will be providing the position, like from where you want to delete, and the number of values that you want to delete from here, or number of items that you want to delete from here. Now once it is done, again you would like to display issues. Okay, now this is how you will be working with the object. So I'm giving you one challenge over here. Now what exactly the challenge is? See this challenge, and this challenge is basically that I have explained you each and everything about the object, right? So what you need to do, make changes in your application and test it. So you need to understand that how you are going to make the changes in your application and how you are going to test it as well. Okay, so I hope you people will be able to do this. If you are able to do this, it is good, you have bonus point. Otherwise, just wait for some time and I will be coming back once again with the new thing, and I will be showing you that how exactly you will be writing this code and how exactly you will be testing your application as well. So with this, thank you very much for this.